Welcome to the Dean Obeidallah Show. It's Sunday, March 1st, and this is a special You Are My Guest edition. And the topic is the Iran war. For the last almost 48 hours, just about, we've all been glued to news outlets, watching on cable news, watching YouTube shows. But I wanted to hear from you. We've all heard what the others have to say. We've all heard what the pundits have to say. Now it's time for you to be my guest. And that's why I do these segments at least a few times a week to get the reaction of real people and not the pundit class, because your responses to me are much more real and it gives us the temperature of where this nation really is. And I do this on my radio show on Sirius XM every night. There's no shows on the weekend. So I need a fix of real people, and that's where you come in. So first of all, it's an illegal attack. Forget whatever you want to think about Iran, that's different. First of all, it's an illegal attack. We have a constitution. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution makes it very clear. Congress has the exclusive right to declare war. And this is war. Donald Trump said it's war. In his talk on that video he put out on Saturday, he said, the lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. This often happens in war. That wasn't off the cuff. That was his language prepared for him. The Trump administration views us as at war, and we are. 3 Americans have been killed so far. I don't know how many more Americans will die. I don't know how many Iranian civilians will die in all of this. We saw in Israel 9 people killed in a bomb shelter by a missile. How many civilians and innocent people will die before this war that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu cooked up? We're going to find out. I want to point out a few things before I start reading the comments. The idea of killing the leader of Iran, and that's going to cause regime change, and that's what Trump said. They want regime change. He even said point blank, the people of Iran, he wants them to rise up. The people of Iran deserve freedom. They've been living under an oppressive regime for decades now. It's horrific. Unless you're with the regime, and according to my friend Trita Parsi, only about 25% of Iranians support the regime. The rest have lived horrible lives. They deserve freedom. The problem is Donald Trump is not the guy that's going to give anybody freedom because he doesn't care. Reminder, when he negotiated the deal in 2020 to pull our troops out of Afghanistan, he did not make any conditions in the deal to uphold the rights of the women of Afghanistan. It's something I wrote about and people clamored about. He didn't care. And with Venezuela, he removed one dictator and put in a pro-Trump dictator who gave him oil. And Marco Rubio just testified at the end of January in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee when asked about where's the democracy in Venezuela. He said, we're going to get to that. It's going to take time. And he actually made an analogy. It's not like a frozen dinner that you can microwave it in 2 minutes. He literally said that. I'm not kidding. He said maybe in 3 months or 6 months, we'll have an update on freedom. They don't care about freedom. Trump cares about Trump. Netanyahu cares about Netanyahu. Netanyahu's concerns are what's good for Israel. Trump's concerns are what's good for him. It's not even what's good for America. I despise Netanyahu, don't get me wrong, but he's motivated by staying in power and his own agenda. Trump is personal benefit, financial. If he can make a profit off the war in Iran, he'll make a profit. That's the only thing that matters to him. Does he personally profit? We've never seen an American president like this. But also getting back to getting rid of the leaders of Iran. If you think that's going to bring the regime down, the problem is I talked to Joe Cirincione yesterday. Joe Cirincione, well-known national security expert, because we did a special show. And he made it clear since World War II, no regime has fallen when you just do airstrikes. You need to have boots on the ground. Another reminder, in 2006, Saddam Hussein was killed. How much longer did the war go on in Iraq? 5 more years. Saddam Hussein was killed in 2006. The war did not end to 2011. And we had boots on the ground, and we couldn't do the regime change and implement, this idea of nation building where there would be some freedoms and democratic institutions that we want to leave behind. It cost us another $1 trillion, or about $3 trillion altogether, thousands of Americans' lives, and hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians killed like they didn't matter. That's what the future is for Iran with Donald Trump at the helm here. I want the Iranian people, they deserve freedom. And the only way I can see them, I'm not sure if they'll get freedom, what I could see next is Donald Trump and Netanyahu especially arming the factions in Iran so they have a civil war and kill each other. Netanyahu's goal is to destabilize Iran. And Netanyahu, the more Iranians who kill each other, the better it is for Benjamin Netanyahu. The man's a war criminal charged with crimes against humanity. So keep that in mind. There's no good faith actors on the side of Trump and Netanyahu, the new axis of evil. So my point is we need regime change here. We can't wait even to the midterm, but we're going to have to wait to take the House. We can't wait to 2029. And what that means is Democrats need to be stronger than ever. And I don't mean just talking about articles of impeachment, but they should. And I don't see any, except for maybe Al Green talking about it right now. They should be talking about defunding the entire government as long as Trump is president to strangle this administration so they can't do anything. They should be talking about invoking the 25th Amendment. Be creative, whatever it is, be creative and use the term remove the regime. Now, the problem is only a handful of Democrats will do that. The good thing is most Democrats, the response has been very critical of the attack. Some have said war powers. A few Democrats so far, the worst being John Fetterman, also Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey, the congressman from where I grew up. They're very in favor of this. They have no problem with Trump killing people in Iran, spending our money, and doing it for the interests of Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump's personal benefit. Whatever, again, people are saying this is all Netanyahu. It's not all Netanyahu. Netanyahu can't get Trump to do anything. For Trump, there's the personal benefit. Now, obviously, we all know it's pushing Epstein out of the headlines. That's one of it. There could be another we don't know about where he's going to develop beachfront property or have the rights to towers to be built in Iran. Whatever it is, Trump is motivated by one thing. So Netanyahu can clamor all day about it. Trump makes a decision, and it's what's good for him. So we need this regime to be changed. And last thing before I start reading the comments, because people are joining and they're putting their comments, and I want to read them so other people can hear how everyone's feeling about this. Think about George Bush in the lead up to the Iraq War. It was a war based on lies, but he still went to Congress and got a vote. Overwhelming support, congressional authorization for the war. He went to the UN. He made the case to the American people, again lying, but on the eve of the war, more than 70% of Americans supported military action against Saddam Hussein because of weapons of mass destruction, and of course the lie that Saddam was involved in 9/11. The point is not the substance. The point was he went to the American people, he went to Congress. Trump didn't either. Trump doesn't care that only 20 to 25% of Americans support military action against Iran. Why? Because Trump doesn't view us as voters. He doesn't view us as constituents. He views us as subjects. You and I are subjects to the king, to the mad king, Donald Trump. He doesn't care about the Constitution. He doesn't care about Congress. He doesn't care about public opinion. This is a man who has contempt for all of our institutions. This is the man on the night of the war spoke in Texas saying he, quote, was entitled to a third term. That was his exact language Friday night before the attack, that he was entitled to a third term. That violates the Constitution. He doesn't care about the Constitution. He doesn't care about the law. He doesn't care about public opinion. We are subjects. He's the king. That's the relationship. Thankfully, there's no King's Rally at the end of this month. It's already March 1st. So to me, we need to change this regime, and it can't come fast enough. The first step from politics is the election in November. For now, we need Democrats to be in one voice and be strong on this. And we have to push them because I saw 3 supporting the military action. Again, Fetterman, Josh Gottheimer, and another one, Greg Landsman. Others are on the fence. Push the other ones. Call your member of Congress. Call your senators who are Democrats if they've not spoken out yet to denounce this, that they're going to vote against it when the war powers resolution comes up. This war is illegal. It's illegal. International law and domestic law. There was no threat to the United States of America. None. The 3 different lies that Trump peddled have been debunked. The idea that Iran is a week away from developing a nuclear bomb was a lie. I don't just mean that he claimed he obliterated the program. That's a lie. That they were close to an intercontinental ballistic missile, as Joe Cirincione, who many of you know from years on cable news, and he worked on the Iran deal with the Obama administration. They are years from developing a missile to hit us. And through this all, they were in the midst of negotiations for a diplomatic solution so there would be no war. In the middle of the talks, Trump and Netanyahu bomb Iran because they don't want a deal. They want war, or Netanyahu wants war. Trump just wants us not to talk about Epstein. And again, there's something else lurking. Everything for Trump is either financial or political. The political, get Epstein out of the way, but also politically, he might think this makes him stronger and people are going to rally around him. I don't see that happening. And by the way, before we came on air, Trump just said to the Daily Mail he thinks the war will last at least a month. He said, there was 2 weeks a little while ago. Now he's saying today a month. A month becomes 2 months, becomes 6 months, becomes another endless war. That's what Republicans give us. George W. Bush gave us an endless war. $3 trillion. Thousands of Americans. That doesn't even include Afghanistan. That was just Iraq. So that's where we're heading. So, okay, enough with me. We need a regime change. We need it now. How are we going to get there without going to jail? So it's got to be all legal ideas. What do you want to see Democrats do? Are you going to call your members of Congress and push them to vote against any resolution to give Trump the military authorization? There should be impeachment of Trump. The man, on a lie, just attacked another country and is going to be there for a month, spending billions of our dollars, not for the good of American citizens. American tax dollars for Americans. How hard is that? I don't know why we've lived in this world for so many years where we give our tax dollars to other countries. American tax dollars for Americans. That's how I view it. I'm simplistic. I know. All right, let's go right back. And I'm going to read the comments here. And again, whatever, if you're joining late, you are my guest. So how do you feel about the Iran war? What do you want to see Democrats do when they go back to Congress this week? It looks like some might go back Monday, but by Wednesday, how do you want them to vote? Call your member of Congress. All right, I'm going to just randomly go back here and go as far up as I can and start reading the, let's see, out a few more here. Cecile says, horrific, repressive, violent regime, and still the attack is wrong. Talking about Iran. Yeah, it's a horrific regime. And I wish that people will get freedom. The problem is Donald Trump is not the guy. It's going to take boots on the ground to truly give the people freedom. And I don't think there's the appetite for that in America, but Trump doesn't care. He's not about that. In fact, Trump said on Saturday in his video, Iranian people, here's your time, rise up. It's your only chance this generation. Then just about 2 hours ago, he said, well, they're ready to talk. I'm ready to talk. So if you're ready to talk, you're ready to talk with the regime and keep them in power. Lindsey Graham was on the Sunday morning show saying what Trump wanted. What did he say today? He literally said, we are not here for regime change. That's what he said. They've already sold out the Iranian people. I have so many Iranian American friends just with one Friday at an event. And they are so thrilled yesterday when the Ayatollah was killed. And now they're coming down to reality, realize there still won't be freedom for the people of Iran if the regime stays intact. And it looks like it's going to, but we'll see. All right, here's some more. Los Gatos says, I fail to see how attacking Iran helps the people of the U.S. This illegal war will shoot up the price of oil, absolutely, destabilize the Middle East, and inflate our national debt. Absolutely. And at 6 p.m., the markets open Eastern time for stock market futures and for oil futures. They expect that oil per barrel will be about $75. That's up from about 17% in just the last month. So you're adding another 10%. Your gas prices, when you go to the pump, reflect that really fast. So we will see probably by the end of the week more of a creeping up of gas prices. And if this war goes on for a month and the Straits of Hormuz are closed and oil tankers can't get through, you might see oil hit $100 a barrel. That's what they're estimating. You're talking about average gas prices around $3.50, $4, and that makes inflation go through the roof. That makes things unbearable. Let's continue on. Let me read. Trump is Bibi's bitch. Okay, Chris says that. Los Gatos, Iran has the detailed succession plans. I've been reading about that as well. Amy, who's an Iranian American, born with dual citizenship. My family fought and died in the revolution to overthrow the American-installed Shah. These same people now support the installation of his son, who has never been to Iran. I stand alone in my huge Persian family. This was illegal. I don't think it will end well for my people. Israel wants to see a failed state to advance their agenda. Also, it's a distraction for the U.S. My heart bleeds for the innocent lives that will be lost. Iran is not going out without a fight. Amy, I so appreciate you pointing out, as an Iranian American, that the Shah was there. We were propping him up. We installed him after there was Mossadegh was elected by the people of Iran in the 50s. Then our CIA got rid of him because they wanted to have someone who was going to be pro-U.S. the same way Trump got rid of Maduro in Venezuela, who was a terrible guy. But what did he do? He didn't bring freedom or democracy. He just put a pro-Trump dictator who will give him the oil. That's exactly what the CIA did in the 1950s in Iran. So installing the Shah's son, and I've talked to a few people, Trita Parsi, who's an Iranian American activist, my friend Sina John and others, They say there's a subset of Iranian Americans who want the Shah. There's a lot of others who don't want the Shah. It's very divided. But I want to see the people have freedom. I don't want to go from one dictator to another dictator who then oppresses another swath of people. But a nation that doesn't have democracy for a long period of time, it's hard to buy into democracy as an institution. People give up on it quickly. All right, let me read more comments here. The Lucky says, I'm in Northern Virginia. My mom's Iranian. She and her family are here, dual citizens. Iranians are very desperate, but the regime is everywhere, and the citizens aren't armed. They don't care if Trump, Bibi are monsters. They are desperate. I'm worried they're putting hope in another Nepo baby American puppet, which is the son of the Shah. There is some propaganda from all sides. It's scary. It is war. There is propaganda on both sides. I want to see the best for the Iranian people. They deserve freedom. They've suffered for a long time. My good friend Maz Jobrani is a comedian. When I was a full-time comic, we used to tour together. We were in this group called Axis of Evil in 2007 and 2008, and we toured in the Middle East all over. And, his family fled as well. And I know they want freedom, and they have family members still there. I hope they get freedom. I don't know what it will take. I'm not an expert on nation building, so I don't know. Joe Cannizzaro, Joe Cannizzaro, Cannizzaro is my aunt's maiden name on my mom's side. I'm Sicilian on my mom's side. He says, Fetterman's an effing traitor. He is. Fetterman is he immediately, within minutes of the attack, posted it, praised the United States and Israel and that they're doing great work. It's almost to the right of Lindsey Graham at this point. I don't know why Fetterman ran as a progressive Democrat. To remind people, he ran in a primary. Connor Lamb was the moderate Democrat. He defeated Connor Lamb, the Democratic primary in Pennsylvania, by running to his left, as running as a progressive. Now he's a right winger. If he had any decency, and I'm being sincere, he should resign, become a Republican, and then run for the Republican nomination in the special election. The people of Pennsylvania want a second Republican senator. Let them vote for John Fetterman. But he perpetrated voter fraud. He ran as a progressive Democrat. Now he's a right-wing Republican. That is the essence of voter fraud. And I don't know if his stroke contributed to that or he was always a liar and couldn't be trusted. In any event, he's a liar now and can't be trusted. We know that. He's a scumbag. So, RJ Crane, agree about Fetterman. Let's see, Catherine, why is there not one person in Congress not stopping any of the criminal activities, breaking of laws, violating the Constitution? Why? I don't know. I mean, Al Green and another Republican have introduced articles of impeachment before this. We'll see. I thought after Venezuela they would do articles of impeachment, but they don't. I don't know what's wrong with our Democrats. As Amy notes, Schumer is controlled paid opposition. She said he's Israel first policies. I don't know what Chuck Schumer is first, but he's certainly not Democratic Party values first. Let me put it that way. I live in New York. His approval rating in New York, I just saw a poll the other day, is about 25%. It's the lowest it's ever been because Democrats have just abandoned him. In 2 years, he will be primaried. I imagine maybe AOC runs against him. A bunch of people are primarying him. I think he'll be gone, but he's got so much big Wall Street money behind him and APAC money. It's going to make him hard, and his name recognition's off the charts, as you imagine. But we'll see. Linda AF. Yes, it's illegal. Trump doesn't care about our Constitution. He's a grifter. He defines the term. Iran is much larger than Afghanistan. Trump is a war criminal. Absolutely. Kathleen Hamlin. The clown opened up a huge can of worms to distract from the fact he's been accused of raping girls. Very much so. How do people feeling like yesterday I felt such a sense of powerlessness that was so frustrating to me. And what I mean by that is we have a constitution and Trump violated it with this war. We have public opinion. Only 25% of Americans support it and he doesn't care. It's like nothing matters, that he really is the king. And on some level, you get a sense of what it must feel like to be in Russia and oppose Vladimir Putin. That you're like, well, people aren't on the side. They don't like what he's doing, but we are powerless to change it. And the elected Democrats we have in office, some are fighters and some are feckless. Some are spineless and some are traitors. So that is part of it. Again, the primaries are here. Vote for a Democrat who's a fighter. Please. Doesn't matter if they're moderate or progressive. If they're going to fight for our freedoms, fight for our Constitution, fight for the working class, those are our people. It's just unbelievable what we have. All right, let me go. Oh, we got so many comments. I'm so late on the comments. Let me go up a little bit and then come down here. And again, if you're just joining late, you are my guest. What's your reaction to the Iran war? What do you want to see Democrats doing? How How are you feeling about this? Like, how does it feel as an American to see our nation bomb another country? A country that was not a threat to us, that was not threatening us in any shape, nothing. There was no threats direct against the United States. It was not a threat. And what does it feel like? We are the bully of the world. We are, on some level, we are a pariah nation now, thanks to Donald Trump. It's unbelievable. Jocelyn Williams says this was an expensive move to stop the talk about Epstein. Yep. I feel that. I think we all feel that very much. Let's see. Michael says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Michael. The Franklin, the citizens, the last question, the answer is Citizens United. They are all corrupt people. Google Citizens United. I think most people watching a political live chat at 4:55 on a Sunday know Citizens United. We all know it's corrupting. I cannot, I'll tell you, if there's one antidote that cuts across so many areas to bring the power back to the people, it's getting rid of big money in politics. And Democrats saying that without articulating ways to do that is a waste of my time. I hope it's a waste of your time. If you hear a Democrat say big money in politics is a cancer to our society and our democracy, I agree, applaud them, then ask them, what are they going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And what do I mean is, are they going to support a constitutional amendment, which will take forever, but it's something, or more quickly, expanding the Supreme Court, if we can control the House and the Senate and the White House, so we can have justices on who overturn Citizens United? Are they going to support creative laws that, while maybe not reining in spending, can penalize spending? And I can get that to another day because it's something I've been working on. But let's move on here. Rhonda Foster, someone please run against Schumer and Jeffries. Well, I don't think Jeffries has a real primary opponent. I live in New York City. He's in Brooklyn. Schumer in 2 years is going to have a lot of people. If no one runs against Chuck Schumer, I will run against Chuck Schumer. I promise you that. I'm not even kidding. I almost ran for Congress this term here. It was too late. If Chuck Schumer has no Democratic opponent in his primary, I will run against Chuck Schumer, at least to make him sweat in the primary if I could do that. And the worst part is you need to raise a lot of money, and I hate big money in politics. Let's continue. Wow, Jen says I changed my affiliation from Democrat to Independent because of Schumer, and he's not even my senator. A few more people. That Terry Ann says we've killed over 100 Iranian schoolgirls. That's the report. That's the story. I don't know how many others. I saw reports that 200 Iranian civilians were likely killed in the first day. Today's bombing is unlike anything they've ever seen in Tehran, they're saying. I have no doubt they're targeting military targets, but every bomb doesn't hit their target, as we all know. There's bombs like 2,000-pound bombs, which cause destruction even blocks away, a half a mile away. We saw that in Gaza. That did in Gaza, where even if it was good faith, you're dropping a bomb to target someone bad, well, you're killing people a half a mile away as well. There was no good faith there. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, even if you're targeting someone who's bad, you're dropping massive bombs in urban areas. It's because you don't view the people on the ground as human beings and that they're all acceptable losses. Let's see what else we got. Amy says, thank you, Dean. I'm not sure for what, but I thank you. Susan, we are not powerless. We are all fighting in numerous ways. Thank you, Susan. We all need to remember that. We all have power. I just want to change things today. Like, I am tired of waiting. It seems like Trump has been president for our entire lives at this point because he was in there. And then for the last 4 years under Biden, he got more press than Biden. And now he's back. Donald Trump will attack Canada. He will take Greenland. No one's going to stop him. And right now, the world, our allies are not even standing up to what's going on in Iran. The Western allies are putting out statements like, we support getting rid of the Iranian regime. You do? Well, then why don't you commit your troops to rebuild the nation to guarantee freedom for the people in Iran? So stop with these bullshit statements, Keir Starmer and Macron. Put your troops where your mouth are. And you won't. And they won't do it because they really don't care about the Iranian people. So if you really care, put your troops there to protect the Iranian people, build democratic institutions, guaranteeing freedoms for all people there. That's the only way. Because right now, we know there's a succession plan and it's already kicked in. There was a great article in Politico, a deep dive today on how the Iranian regime have been planning for years that there would be an attack that would decapitate their leadership. This is not like out of the blue. So they still attack, they still have power, they're being hurt. But it's a big country. And they have things buried all over the place. All right, let's continue. Gloria G, I'm mad as hell. Angie, why are all Trump's messages about the war on video? Very good question, Angie. I think it's so he can pre-record it to make sure he doesn't say something stupid and go off script. I also think he's physically failing, and I don't even know if the video we saw at 2:30 in the morning was recorded at 2:30 in the morning. It was too clear-eyed for him at 2:30 in the morning. So, and that was the time it was released. I imagine it was recorded before bedtime for Pop Pop, before he goes to bed, and he goes out. They had a big. We know that there was a big party for millionaires at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday night as the bombing was starting, and that's not an exaggeration. It's all reported now. So, Kathleen Hamlin, why aren't we looking at how Brazil removed their corrupt president and rogue government? We already had that chance. And what happened in Brazil, Bolsonaro, and I just wrote about it because South Korea banned their leader who attempted an insurrection in jail. He's in jail for life now. And Bolsonaro was in jail for 27 years, which is his life. And what happened? They moved swiftly. After the coup attempt of Bolsonaro in Brazil, his term was up. They banned him from seeking office really quickly after that. So he was out of politics. And then they convicted him last year. And right now he's in prison and he will be there for the rest of his life. That's how you do it. You move swiftly. 2022 was a coup attempt. Within months, he was barred from politics and charged within months after that, and then convicted about a little over a year later. In America, we don't move swiftly because the big money interests have too much sway, and the elite have too much sway over the people. Because if that wasn't true, Donald Trump would be in a prison cell right now, spending the last days of his life. And the only speeches Trump would be making would be in the commissary, in the prison, about what's going to have for dinner and lunch. That's where he belongs. He deserves to die in jail for attempting a coup, and only in America doesn't he? Let's see what else we've got here. The Cecile here, again, Iranian American. My family remember the Shah, and Savik, and I might be mispronouncing it, was like their secret police, which were horrific. People hurt by it. People around deserve much more than a return to imperial rule or the continuation of status quo. And it's not going to be easy for Iran. And Netanyahu, from my understanding, he wants to see Iran broken into parts, so it's not a threat at all. And that could very well happen. I mean, Iraq is one nation, but really the Kurds are semi-autonomous, my understanding, even not truly autonomous in the north. So you might have really a divided nation where they're not one nation anymore, and that's what they want. Let's see what Eileen says, APAC, 2 thumbs down. Yes, 4 thumbs down. Patsy Landy, Hakeem Jeffries is funding big donor money to other Democrats. That's very true. That's how he became soon to be speaker. Gloria G makes a great point. Send all Trump's sons to Iran. I have an idea. If we are actually going to send troops on the ground to Iran, then we should have a draft. And anybody who voted for Trump, any young man, the MAGAs should be the first ones to be drafted. That's fair, isn't it? You voted for the guy, now go die for him. The rest of us didn't vote for him. No one's children or grandchild should die for Donald Trump's war. Only the supporters of Trump. And I think that's fair. I think that's unbelievably fair, isn't it? You supported the guy, you got him elected, now go die for him. And maybe you won't die. Maybe you'll survive the war. Maybe you'll come back with one less limb. But whatever, you voted for the guy, you go suffer for him. You sacrifice for him. We should force a draft on the crypto guys who gave tons of money to Donald Trump. These scumbags bankrolled his campaign, and now they sit back and watch all this. All right, let's see a few more. I got it. Shannon Murray says, it's so depressing to see how the Republicans lie. When will we have the truth in our politics? I don't know. It's very unbelievable. Let's see. Linda AF says, was told my internet connection was unstable. It's showing that it's good as it was before. But as soon as you read my comment about Trump defining the word grifter, my screen went black. Interesting. They're watching us. Definitely. Trump is watching probably this. Who knows? At this point, with the AI, I mean, we don't even talk about it now, but if you saw on Friday what happened, Anthropic, which is a big AI company, did not allow Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Beer and Tattoos, to use their AI without conditions. So they dumped Anthropic. What were the conditions? Them two. They didn't want their AI used to be for mass surveillance of U.S. citizens on domestic soil. So they didn't want the military to be able to use the AI of Anthropic, that company, for mass surveillance on U.S. soil. And the Trump administration said, nope, we won't agree to that. So with AI, they're going to be able to watch everything. Now, I'm not sure what that will mean, but they can. The Gwynn says, I want to see candidates announcing they will not take APAC and corporate funds. Some Democrats are in this primary season. You are seeing more of that, thankfully. Susan says, I love you, Dean. You've been speaking truth here for a long time. Yes, it's been about 32 minutes so far. Thanks. You're one of the OGs. Let's see. I'll do a few more and then we'll wrap up. It's great to see people on a Sunday just joining and sharing. Amy, DJT is not long for this earth, so he doesn't care about anything. I don't know that JD Vance is any better or not. I don't think JD Vance would order other attacks on countries. But then again, you never know once he gets in there what happens. And Peter Thiel is bankroller, whatever happened there. A few more comments here. Igor, ISA, Merrick Garland failed. America, if you know me at all, if you've been listening to me for during the years of Biden, all I talked about is Merrick Garland and what are you doing? And I was told, shut up by even some Democrats. This is an episode of Law and Order. That's what I was told. Those people have never apologized. They're part of the problem as well. But obviously, it's the Republicans overall that did not ban Donald Trump from running for office. Let's continue a few more. Let's see. Gene says Trump should be in a cell and babbling to himself. Yes, he should be. Draco says peace isn't passive. Peace needs structure. If we don't design peaceful systems, chaos designs itself. The Kirby Hertz is Al Jazeera showing DJT lying now. Oh, why? Is he giving a speech? The monster? All right, a few more here. This is what MAGA vote for. It is Jen, draft by class from top down. Why don't presidents fight the war? Yeah, when you think about it, in the old days of war, the king would go onto the battlefield. Like King Richard, the Lionhearted, if they would go on the battlefield. We should get Donald Trump in his golf cart and make him drive to the front lines. What do you think? Like drive him down and drop him in Tehran and lead the charge like the kings of old. Unleash the dogs of war, Donald Trump. He's not going to do that. But that would be cool. If you put a king on the battlefield and his sons or princes have to lead some of the charge, it might make them think twice about stuff. All right, a few more before we run out of time. Can we undo APAC? We can with raising our own money and backing candidates who reject it. Nancy Dean, can you explain Polymarket? Polymarket is just betting. It's gambling online. A lot of people don't like Polymarket because it has ties to crypto or some bad people, but it's legalized gambling. You can bet on anything you want. That's it. And I know they're doing a deal with Substack, which upset a lot of people. I don't know the nefarious part of Polymarket. I have to look it up. I just know their name. SCOTUS handcuffed Jack Smith. Absolutely. Getting back to Merrick Garland. Susan, Dean, come on now. Air America, the progressive XM station after that. I was doing Air America, but I was never a host there. Let's see a few more. For a Better World says, isn't Trump just a bought and paid for Russia Saudi puppet? I don't know who he's a puppet of. If anybody, it's more Putin than anyone else. And then whoever helps him, his personal interest, that's who he works with. There's Jules, our friend. Exactly. Let the maggots fight in the front line. Let's see, a few more. Joe says, Baroness Hereditary heel Spurs. Adam W. says, I am William Wallace from Braveheart, which is a great line. Jack Smith for AG. What TF the corporate media? All right. So I think we've got through all the comments. Did an episode of, so Francesca I know Francesca. She's great. Did an episode about Polymarkets. I have to look into it. I don't know much about who they are, but I know they're no good because that's what people tell me. But I don't know why. So I have to look into it. So look, I want to thank you for joining on this sudden Sunday afternoon. You are my guest. I hope people will take a look at the comments of people. The whole reason we do this, and I do You Are My Guest, so that we can amplify each other's voices and you can hear what like-minded people are feeling about an issue of the day. The Iran war is a big issue. We need regime change in the United States of America. It's up to us. No one's going to save us. And I believe we've got it. Like they're going to try to cheat. And I'll tell you this point blank. The only way Republicans don't lose the 2026 midterm is if they steal the election. And we're not going to let them steal it. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks, everybody. It's great seeing a lot of people I know and others. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope you subscribe to my Substack and my YouTube, by the way. It's free as well. Have a great day.